and welcome to the March Harlequin new releases. Now, I know the groundhog did see his shadow last month, meaning we still have a few weeks of winter, but don't worry, Harlequin is bringing the heat with some new red-hot romances, along with some feisty heroines you're totally going to want to root for as they look for true love. Hi everyone, I'm Lisa from Lisa Latte Books, and you are watching the Harlequin Books channel where we talk all about romance books. And today I have 6 great reads that are going to put a spring in your step, some butterflies in your stomach, and they'll have you falling head over heels in love with some pretty awesome book boyfriends. So, first up is His Enemy's Italian Surrender by Sharon Kendrick, which has all the normal trappings you'd expect from a billionaire romance, like a castle in Tuscany, a house full of servants, and a super high-powered businessman not looking to settle down. But this is actually a really good enemies to lovers romance. So Kelly and Romano already know each other. So Kelly's parents worked at an exclusive boarding school, which is where Kelly met Romano's sister, and they became besties, and since then they've each been harboring a secret crush on each other for years. So when she shows up years later to his extravagant castle in the Tuscan countryside, she's flat broke and in desperate need of cash. So her rent is not going to be paid because she just was fired from her waitressing job, and her friend obviously is wealthy and offers to give it to her, but she's like, I can't take a handout. She's like, fine, why don't you work for my brother here at the castle, which is dusty and dirty and could use a really good cleaning. So he kind of gets roped into it. It would be rude not to say yes. So after the baby christening, she's going to stay at the castle for 10 days and clean the house. Now, each night they both have some pretty steamy dreams about each other. And finally, one night they both stumble into the kitchen because they're not able to sleep because of their steamy dreams. And they end up hooking up together, which is when Romano finds out that he was all wrong about Kelly's party girl status, which he assumed that she was because of these boarding school stories, but she was actually a virgin and, well, was being the operative word because she is no longer a virgin now that she is hooked up with Romano. And this is only day 1 of 10 of her housekeeping duties. So you'll want to read this to find out how they both navigate the castle after that encounter. Next is Missing Baby Doe by B.J. Daniels, who is the ultimate edge-of-your-seat, nonstop action, romantic suspense storyteller ever. So, like, every time I see B.J. Daniels, I know it's going to be a good book. So make sure you have, like, nothing else planned for that night because you're not going to want to stop to do anything once you start reading this book. So there is, in a typical book that she has, there's no time wasted on any boring backstory. So we open with a woman coming into the sheriff's office where Kat, who is 7 months pregnant, is acting as sheriff while the real one is on vacation. And the woman tells Kat that Dylan got her pregnant after drugging her, and he's now threatening to kill her and the baby. So the joke, though, is on this woman because Dylan is actually sterile due to some work-related chemical exposure or something. So 2 days later, the woman ends up dead and her baby is missing. So this is actually all tied into Dylan's wife, who was killed 9 months ago in a car explosion with his brother. So it's up to both Kat and Dylan to figure this out while fighting their attraction to each other. Now, if you're wondering who's Kat's baby daddy, then you'll want to read this because it's not revealed until like way later in the book, and it's a good one, so I don't want to spoil it for you. The next book is The Cowboy's Easter Surprise by Jill Kemerer, which is the perfect book for somebody who loves children and heartwarming faith-based stories. So Gracie's boyfriend dumps her after 5 years, and now she finds herself back in her small hometown of Jewel River, and she's desperate for a job, really any job that will help cover her rent. So Trent is stuck caring for his 3 nieces while his brother is on some super secret government assignment for like the next year and possibly longer. And it's a small town, so Trent has literally run out of any babysitting options available to him. So he's kind of desperate. But when he hears that Gracie could possibly be a solution, he doesn't want to actually employ her because he remembers her high school days when she was drunk and he had to drive her home. But she's totally changed and she's putting all of her faith in God to see her through. So in fact, it's kind of a cute, like every time Trent says something dumb or rude, like Gracie like says a silent prayer and she's like, that's like how she like doesn't snap back at him. So you'll want to read this to see how this cowboy and reformed party girl work together to take care of 3 little kids and also fall in love in the process. Next is Falling for Her Ranger by Amie Denman, which is a super fun romance about Minerva. Now, Minerva is an aspiring matchmaker, and her first client, Grant, is a park ranger. So like all matchmaking romances, Minerva is really destined to fall in love with Grant, but until that happens, she's going to force him to kiss some toads along the way. So first, she sets him up with a veterinarian who does like 99% of the talking. And they're not fun stories. They're just kind of doom and gloom ones about her vet patients crossing the Rainbow Bridge. Then she sets him up with this kooky, like, nanny who uses his raincoat as a garbage bag. And for some bizarre reason, they're on like this cute little 20-minute boat cruise as their date, and she brings him a change of clothes. So it's just a little quirky. So in between all of this, Minerva is going out to dinner with Grant, just to get to know him better so she can find his perfect match. And because she knows his birthday, because she took that on his intake form, she brings him birthday cake when no one else did or remembered or he had time to actually go out and celebrate. So they're also constantly texting and talking on the phone. So you'll want to read this to see when they both figure out that they're destined for each other and not any of Minerva's crazy setups that she makes this poor guy go on. Next is my favorite Texas family, the Fortunes. So in A Fortune's Redemption by Stella Bagwell, we get to see the Fortune family Gold Ranch, which is run by Rafe Fortune. And this week he is hosting Heidi and her twin 1-year-old daughter. So 2 little, I don't even know if you call them toddler. I think they're still infants, right? At 1-year-old. Anyways, she has won an all expense paid, like stay in the room, like daycare, room service, food, like the kitchen is fully stocked. She can go to the spa. Everything she wants is totally complimentary. And also, Rafe drops off gifts for her and supplies. So it's like a dream come true for Heidi, who was just fired from her waitressing job because she's a single mom and she had to take care of her little babies. But it's also a dream come true for Rafe, whose wife and son were killed in a car accident a few years ago, and he's been dying to play daddy to a baby again, and now he gets to do it for 2 babies. So as a single mom of twin infants, Heidi, as you can imagine, is constantly in need of help, and Rafe is always there at the ready. So even when Heidi needs to take one of them to urgent care because of a fever, he tags along and takes care of the other baby while she's in with the doctor. So it's everything for both of them that they have ever dreamed of. She gets a super wealthy, hot single guy who loves babies, and he gets a ready-made family. So if you love reading single mom romances that all end in a big, happy, and wealthy family where literally all of your needs are taken care of, then this is the book for you. Oh, and there's also this small little mystery going on in the background. So at the beginning of the book, there's a baby that was abandoned at the Fortune Ranch with a note saying, please take care of him. And so they're assuming maybe it was purposely left there because one of the Fortune men has fathered this baby. So they all do a DNA test to see who is a match. So it's kind of like a bonus extra story within the story. So that's like a fun part to that book as well. So last we have a historical romance, Only an Heiress Will Do by Virginia Heath, which is about Gwen. And Gwen is an alpha female in 1816 London, which is pretty hard to pull off. Now, she goes to extreme lengths to redeem her name, which has been ruined, and her reputation, but she has money. So she propositions Adam, who is in desperate need of cash, and not because he's a gambler, his brother has a lot of of debts. He's like not feeling well, so he hasn't been able to work. So she's like, why don't you marry me? I'll take care of all of the debts, and I'll also give you like a huge allowance, which is, I think, 10,000 pounds a year. I don't know what that equivalent is to this day, but I think it was a lot because he was very impressed. Now, they actually have an amazing wedding night together, which really wasn't something she was planning on, but she actually finds that she is falling in love with him and he is falling in love with her. So you'll have to read this to see if he can help tame her alpha female ways, because the very next morning after their honeymoon, she is like out the door and to work at the family factory, because that is her number one concern and probably why she has so much money and he does not. All right, that's a wrap on some super fun March new releases from Harlequin to ensure you have a month filled with tons of romance stories that you're going to love. Now, there are more, like many, many more romance books that came out this month from Harlequin, so make sure to check all of them out at harlequin.com. All right, happy reading, and remember, if you like hearing about romance books, that's all we talk about on this channel, so make sure to hit the subscribe button below, and we'll see you very soon.